Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 40, March 29th. It's 7:45 a.m. We're getting ready to start northbound toward Abingdon Gap Shelter. Or if you're from Abingdon, you say Abingdon. No one came and stayed in the shelter last night, so I could have stayed in there and had it to myself, but got down to 45 degrees last night. Nice and balmy. No issues. We're doing 16 miles today. We should get there pretty early. Unfortunately, looking at the trail guide, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of points of interest. We've got one big climb. So basically it's just getting 16 miles closer to Damascus, which will be a big benchmark for us. So looking forward to that. It's 51 degrees right now, so starting off hiking in my t-shirt. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. And I'm already thinking about sending back some of my heavier gear in Damascus. Lightening up this pack quite a bit. I'll still keep plenty of base layers. I'll have like a lightweight layer and a midweight layer, but my heavy layer is going to hit home. That'll be about, well, between my expedition weight Patagonia top, my Columbia pants, and my balaclava, that's going to be about 24 ounces. So, pound and a half. And then when I switch over to my summer gear in Pearisburg, I get even lighter. And then we'll start looking at doing some bigger miles, getting up in the 20s, hopefully. All right, looks like it's going to be a good day. And with that, reboot, heading north. It must be a honey badger bunny. So he just don't give a blank. He's just going to sit there and do his thing. We just crossed over Tennessee 91, going through some pastures here. This is the prettiest view we've had in a couple of days. Probably since leaving the lake. Just up a little further along the trail. Nice little AT sign on the barn. This is a beautiful farm here. And whoever has it, they do a good job maintaining it. The maintainers were nice enough to put a bench here for us, so we're going to take advantage of it. Slightly hazy off in the distance, but still beautiful. We're about 1.5 miles north of Double Springs Shelter. It's 11:45. You can see the valley down there with all the farms. And out in the distance I can see a bald, but I don't know if that's one we've been over, or I wouldn't think so. Might be one we're going to. That might be Virginia I'm looking at. Might be hard to see, but through the trees we can see South Holston Lake. It's 10 after 2. We are 2 miles from Abingdon Gap Shelter. For people that don't live there, it's Abingdon Gap Shelter. Got another story for you. So, Story Time with Reboot, episode 2. And I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but I'm going to flash back to the late 80s. And myself and a friend of mine were assistant scoutmasters, and we decided we would bring the troop up here on a backpacking trip. And I don't know where we started, but we were right around this section right here, walking one morning, and myself and my buddy, we were up ahead and the troop was behind us. And all of a sudden here comes this old backpacker heading south. I'd say he's probably in his late 60s, maybe older. But he had his head down and we stepped to the side. He walked right up on us before he realized that we were there. And he greeted us, and he identified himself as, he says, "I'm through hiking and they call me the Slowpoke because it takes me so long to get anywhere." And he asked us who we were and what we were doing. We said, "We're assistant scoutmasters, got the troop up here going on just a weekend trip." And he says, "Well, where are you headed?" We said, "We're headed to Damascus." And he says, "Damascus? Well, Damascus is that way." We said, "No, Damascus is that way." And when he realized that we were right, he said, he put his head down, he said, "Dang it, I did it again." And what he had done is come out of the shelter, Abingdon Gap Shelter, and went south instead of north toward Damascus. So he continued south and we kept going. And when we got to Damascus, there he was, walking down the middle of the town and on the sidewalk. And we found out that he went back out there to 421 and hitchhiked into Damascus. So hopefully he made it. I don't know, I'm sure there's been a lot of slowpokes over the years. We're 2 miles from the shelter. It's only 2:15, so we may be moving on and shorten our mileage in Damascus for tomorrow. All right, I hope you enjoyed Story Time with Reboot. It's 5:45, and I didn't mean for this to happen today, but we're about to cross into Virginia. We've done well over 20 miles, and we got to Abingdon Gap Shelter, and it was 3 o'clock. We just decided to push on, and the guy there told us there's supposed to be thunderstorms tonight, and the forecast is for rain tomorrow. So we walked on, we found a couple of tent sites that might do, but I really wanted to get down out of this wind, so I just kept going. And before too long, like a mile and a half away from the border, and I just decided to head for the border and kind of celebrate my first 20+ mile day and knock off another state and worry about the rain tomorrow when we're heading into Damascus. There's the sign. Tennessee. He gave us some good weather at the end from Doll Flats to here, and he gave us a good hostel, and he gave us some great scenery along the Laurel Fork River. But I am happy to see you go. And now it's on to the 536-mile vixen that is Virginia. Check in with you later. Okay, it's 7 o'clock, just a little before 7, and we're still walking because after we crossed into Virginia, saw that Damascus was 3.5 miles away, we decided to go on to Damascus. So once again, we're a day early into our stop and doing a total of 26 miles today. So hopefully we can recover from that with our 00. We're gonna go try to check into a hostel here and go get some town food and worry about everything, come back and get a shower, worry about everything else tomorrow. So good thing is it was supposed to rain tonight. That was another big motivator. Come on into town because we won't have to hike in the rain tomorrow, and we won't have to pack up a wet tent and then worry about drying up everything here at the hostel. So, my feet are, my dogs are barking, as the expression goes. So, but no blisters, just some hot spots around where my calluses are. Knees are feeling pretty good actually, considering. And here it is, Trail Town, USA. This is a big milestone for me because coming up here in Scouts, we always came through Damascus. A lot of our trips started here. Now I can say I've done everything from Damascus to Springer. Alright folks, that's going to be it for day 40. Remember, it's all good in the woods.